University of Applied Sciences, like my colleague Patrick. I may be an alien in the room, as I am not an electrical engineer, but more a computer scientist, coming originally from the field of AI and then moving. Okay. So I'm, in that sense, leading a research group, and we try to bring together informatics and energy. So bridging these two elements, but coming from the AI energy side into it. This is one of the reasons why we work in particular more on this, not on the data acquisition itself, but more how to valorize the data. So simulation, optimization, and then also coordination of the actors. I would love to pick up an example that actually, my work into this energy field started with hydropower operations, and then we came to behavior modeling of customers. What I wanted to present to you today as an example is something that was motivated, fortunately, by Christian. The idea of, you have a lot of technologies already available, and it's on the integration, and in particular the battery case that popped up, because we had there the question of a company approaching us and say, okay, assume once we have thousands of households where we have flexibility. May it be rooftop PV that you can curtail, or may it be some type of battery where you have some influence of control. So how can we use the flexibility of single households, which by itself are very marginal. However, if you scale it up and if you can control 10,000 or 100,000 households, you have flexibility you can use in the grid. So that was the challenge the company approached us, where they say, you know, we have those gateways to the household, so there's communication infrastructure exists. This technology in households exists, and we also have the optimization for if it would be one single power plant, we would know how to operate. The thing we are missing, so the small link in between, is how to aggregate 10,000 households in one VPP, and then more interesting, if you have the plan for one VPP, how to de-aggregate the entire thing to send control signals to 10,000, 100,000 households. And this entire thing doing this in 15 minutes. Yeah? So that's why, like this, we optimize each household individually, it's just not working. And this is where our challenge started. So this was the focus of the project, how you can aggregate and de-aggregate. So look in the missing bit to, in the end, bring down the components. To show you one quick slide on what we did. So here you see a little bit the time we used and the number of households. And if you do a straight classical optimization, so this is for a battery case. So we assumed we have households or we have batteries in the grid that you can control. And here the blue curve is like what you would expect if you do classical optimization for each and every battery. And you can see this wonderful exponential growth in runtime that exceeds very fast. And here the orange one, which also at some point in time dips, is if we start the aggregation. And our internal goal was we should do this into 5 to 6 minutes, because having the communication in front and the communication after limits also the time.
Sorry, I suggest you eat these.
Okay, for the last 2-3 minutes?
2
or seconds? 2
minutes.
seconds. I'm nearly finished.
No, 3 minutes.
So what you see here, that we were able in these 5 minutes to have about 100,000 batteries aggregated, planned, and de-aggregated to send out the signals in this 5 minutes. So we still have 10 minutes in the boundaries for all the communication overheads. And that was some challenges we did. I think for the Swiss case, we don't have much utility serving 10,000 of households. Because we have this more than 700 DSOs in 8 million people, so there's not a single company that have 2 million customers, and we are the small one. So in that sense, obviously the potential for this scaling really is in the Swiss DSO not completely there. However, if you have customers that can scale, then those things can be interesting because you gain flexibility that you can use. Okay, given you have these infrastructure in the households. Okay, I think that's it.